Hello and welcome to Changing Our Reality. I want to talk about what reality is. And in that sense, I want to talk about how when I had my aortic dissection, right after I survived, I was given at that time, I was told that I had a 20% chance of surviving 10 years. And then if I survive that 10 years, it goes down from there. But during this 10 years, well, it's been 13 for me, but I've had so many of my best friends who are doing very well, all of a sudden die on me. They got sick, had a heart attack. Chris had a heart attack. He might have had something with his aorta. He went to the hospital with a normal EKG and they send him home in time because it looked normal. It could have been heartburn. 2 days later, he was dead. Then my good friend Ray, he got a cancer and 5 years of suffering. And that went into now my friend who's still alive, Ernie, has the same brain tumor that my doctor who taught me all this at the Chopra Center about meditation and healing, and David Simon, he had his glioblastoma brain tumor too. Now my friend Ernie has it, and he's partially paralyzed, and he's just trying to survive every day. He can't get out of bed or gets in a wheelchair. And it's sad. Now, instead of being sad, I'd like to think about this in a different way. Suppose when my father came out and the surgeon told him, your son has 4% chance of surviving. Let's say I died. I passed away. And what I'm living right now in this reality, this new reality, is something I created because I can't let go. My ego is thinking, my daughter still needs me. She hasn't even got her driver's license yet. My parents need me. They're getting old. I didn't know. I still had so much to do. We just got back to Pittsburgh. Our new life was going to begin as back at our old house that we've lived in for 20 years. And all I thought was, that's material, that's matter. Then the thought came to me, we are not material beings, sometimes having these spiritual experiences, but we are spiritual, having this physical experience. So my physical experience ended, and as soon as I can let go of all that material, and everything went on fine. I'm sure my daughter, she found her place in life. My parents are finishing up their life. My friend, Chris, Ray, and Ernie. Ernie is fine. And they're living for a whole nother generation. And that could be real. Think about it. If that is real, these children, these people that are suffering, that die, they're not just dying, they're dying in what we call this physical experience. And then they're just moving on to this new beginning and having a new middle. And then they're going to have another ending. And they'll start it all over again. That's my belief right now. That's what keeps me going. And as soon as I can go into that next world, my friends are all still going to be back here. That would be nice. That would be a nice thought. That would be a real nice thought. Now, the next part I wanted to talk about is, again, how they discover our aorta. It has these 3 layers. And these three layers, there's the center layer where the blood flows through. And there's sensors that sense that blood flowing. It sends off signals to the middle layer. And the middle layer is like a muscle. So one signal, nitric oxide, will loosen, and another signal, endothelin 1, will tighten, all in the name of helping to control our blood pressure. But what happens, we have other things where we have stress. We can't stop worrying about things that we can't control. We watch too much news. We have genetic factors that are always keeping our blood pressure out of control. When we go into this fight-flight mode, all the blood rushes to your muscle, our adrenaline flows. And with the blood rushing to your muscles, our digestive system gets weaker, our immune system gets weaker. That's why you have to learn to take these deep breaths and relax and find a balance, especially after we've had this aortic dissection. Think about this. We go back to, we're sending these signals, chemicals and peptides to the middle layer. And now we've dissected, we've torn into that middle layer and blood's rushing down our middle layer. What kind of signals is that sending off? I don't know. Now, I can compare this to my eye, my blind eye. I have to wear a patch on my eye because I'm having a rivalry between, I have some sight. If I close this eye, I can see my fingers. I can see the light. I can see dark, but there's still a rivalry because I can't not see 3D vision. So my brain isn't working properly. So those signals that are being sent to the middle layer from the aorta tighten or loosen. There's blood running through it, some part. Who knows what's going on there? I'm going to see a neuro-ophthalmologist. Now, this is just kind of a joke, but shouldn't there also be neuro post-aortic dissection ologists, whatever they would be called, because no one is really following. And it's a fairly new discovery that our inner layer senses the blood flow and it's thinking like a brain because it loosens and tightens, but it's really sending signals through baroreceptors out to our central nervous system. It's our aorta is amazing. It's what's more amazing how I'm watching not just my body, other people's bodies heal over time. We do build these, if we keep our blood pressure down, we start to build, it's not blood clots, but we start to build these sections that will cover up and heal that rip into the middle layer. Now that's great. If we can keep it up long enough, it might even get a seal around it and seal even more. But a lot of times something else happens and it breaks up, and that's when something might go up to the brain and you might get a stroke. I wanted to talk about how when I got down to this 98 pounds, when I would used to see David Simon, my doctor at the Chopra Center, he was the co-founder. When I would have my weekly appointments with him, he would always not make jokes at me, but he would push me to gain more weight. I was his first patient that was 110-pound weakling. And he was trying to get me to go out and just start eating more protein and foods. And that was tough. And that now, after he's passed away in 2012, my weight has gone down it went down to 98 pounds. That's when I started this TPM through my vein, and I started eating and I started to gain some weight. And now I'm staying between 112 and 114 pounds. It was 113 to 115 pounds, but I've lost a pound since since I went off the TPN. And I can drink a lot of water and gain a pound. That's how you don't need to trust this. You don't need to trust the scale so much, or you shouldn't trust the scale so much when it comes to the pounds and half pounds. Now, I was thinking how proud David Simon would be of me. I could feel a pat on my back because I'm forcing myself to eat. And it sucks because my stomach's getting upset. I'm having some diarrhea and I'm having pain in the mornings. But I'm keeping my weight up and I'm fighting going back down to that 98 pounds because I can't go on that TPN. And 98 pounds was pretty much past the point of no return for me. So I know he would be really proud of me, and it's all about awareness. I was aware that my weight was getting down, and I made the doctors make the change of putting me on TPN and making sure my body was still absorbing food. And I'm making the choices. Even the choice, do I go to the hospital? I'm feeling pain right here. It's killing me. But you know what? That kind of connects with my shoulder and my back pain. So maybe I don't need the hospital right now. That's what kind of stuff goes through our heads every single day. So it's something we deal with and something we have to live with. Life is like a roller coaster. And we hit those low points. We hit that low point. We need to just change some information that is the energy that makes up our body. I hope some of that made sense. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope you have some questions for me. Because I'm not a doctor, you have to realize. And I can always find out a deeper answer, an answer to your question, because I might not have thought of that question yet. And I'm always trying to ask myself, look more, and learn about our bodies, what's going on. Thank you. Thank you.